boat. It's probably the biggest boat in the yard.
I actually saw this Anchoright chain marker product in a Facebook post that Defender had run. And the second I saw it, I said to myself, that's exactly what we're looking for. Because right now, previously we were using the kind of rubbery plastic version that you see in the channelries. And it was good as far as it went, but the pieces would fall out. So you had to have 6 or 8 of them in order to end up with 5 or 4 later on. So once I saw this product, it had, it's a harder plastic and it's got a little Phillips head screw that holds the whole thing together. As you know, the way windlasses work is they basically grab the chain by grabbing the oval outside radius of the link. So there's not really a tooth or a cog that goes in the center. So these things should stay in there, but the old version doesn't work. So we've got these and they're fantastic. The only thing is they're hard to find on Defender's site because they're called Anchoright. It's all one word with 1 R, and it doesn't key on anchor or anything like that. There's no way to search for this. So I'll put a link in the description for you guys, and we'll let you figure this out yourself.
Now here's something I've honestly never seen before. Look at it's like crystal salts built up here somehow. I don't know what happened. The off season was very hot here, so I don't know. I'm gonna have to check this all out and see. I'm gonna clean it up, and I've got some fairly sizable projects going on here. Kind of hard to see even on a good day, but there's no coolant in this expansion tank, so it's obviously all drained out down here. Quite worried about this this generator. If you look inside this, you can just see this bright pink. I don't know if the coolant dried up there or what. I did have a leak from this little cap, so I just permatexed it back down a minute ago. It's not a great sealing surface, but I think that it probably leaked all over the place, and in the high heat something happened. I'll check on it and report back.
So here's another item that we got from Defender this year. We are part of their affiliate program. I probably mention it with everything that we show, but we're going to try to put links in so that if you want to buy the product, you just go ahead and do it. You'll get a discount for doing so with the link. These Vetus gauges these 2 are new last year, and they're made by a different manufacturer, but this is an example of what was happening with the old manufacturer, that the bezel would get frosted and the gauge was prone to failure. And so we're showing 0 over here on this engine start battery because it's disconnected, and the generator start battery would never even know that it's disconnected because there's no way to tell. So I have another one. Here's the gauge without the bezel on it, without the little surround, and it's a totally different design. I'll try to show the old design when we take the other one out. Okay, so find the rectangular bezel. There it is. It goes on. It snaps on like so. And get it aligned. And find a lamp angle that doesn't. There we go. That's probably as good as it's going to get. So here's what the old gauges look like. They're clearly a different design. I mean, it branded Vetus, but I would lay money that it's from a different manufacturer. The whole design is completely different. So anyway, those are useless. They're going out. Oh, and by the way, I should mention that, you know, affiliate program or no affiliate program, we will tell you what we think about things, and suppliers. And Defender supplied us with all of our electronics when we bought the boat for the initial refit, where we started the project of bringing this boat into the 21st century with new equipment, new electronics, new sound system. I mean, new everything really. I mean, as far as electronics goes, batteries, all that stuff. They really worked overtime. The tech support guy at the time at Defender was just unbelievable. He calculated all the lengths of wiring that we need, and he was right on. There was a few that were missing because we had changed the design slightly, but you know, when you do a boat refit in faraway land, there's almost no place in the world that supplies product better than the United States. You can get something from Amazon in a couple of days, or an afternoon sometimes even. So you order this stuff and you bring it down, and it becomes a real sourcing challenge and a calculation challenge to make sure that you've got all the pieces and parts that you need. Because when you show up these channel reefs, they sell what they sell. They sell the stuff that sells. They don't sell the stuff that some person like me might possibly want someday. And it has a shelf life to it as well, especially when it comes to electronics. You'll mostly not find electronics in the channel reefs because you can order them online too easily for better pricing. And if you keep a Fusion stereo in stock for a couple of years, it becomes obsolete and has to be sold at kind of a cut rate price. So anyway, the folks at Defender did a great job for us. So that's one of the reasons why we accepted their invitation to do the affiliation program. This is not the last time I'll be talking about stuff that we've gotten through those folks. They are probably the largest channelry in the country. They compete directly with West Marine, and those are probably the two biggest. It's a family-run operation. It's not retail stores all over the country. They really focus on the people that the sailors that use sailors and motorboaters that use these products. Lots of projects coming together. We got the Starlink up and running. We have fantastic speed test numbers coming from that thing. It's got great exposure to the sky here, and so we're in good shape there. So this is the trim piece I made. I have to say it matches really well. We have some water damage underneath there. That's why it's been installed there. It's in silicone Dawn. Doesn't take any load. And here we have the same thing going on over here. I had made this one's just clamped in place because it had a little gap at the top. So, but I have to say that the color match is perfect, and the finish itself turned out nicely as well. So I give that about, I don't know, till tomorrow. It should be on there pretty much permanently. I thought it would be nice to show how we make these templated parts. And that is the key to it, is to create a template. I do that. The angles are done with just a piece of Post-it note, folded to the shape of the angle, and then transferred to my notepad for later use, because obviously we're thousands of miles away when we make these parts.
So I went down to the hardwood store in Denver and picked up a piece of S4S cherry. That means it's sanded and shaped on all four sides. And I'm going to use this to make some replacement trim pieces for the boat. And so it's important to kind of start with good stock, and that's what we have here. I already used up some of it because I've already kind of set up everything and made some sample pieces. Cherry, which is what the interior is of our boat, is quite a bit softer than teak and easier to work with. It's also a lot less heavy. So our boat is a mixture of teak and cherry. Teak is lighter in color, and cherry tends to have a very, very fine grain. It's a hardwood. They make furniture out of cherry. I created a sample board of the various stains I have, and I'm pretty sure that this one here is the one I used before when I did trim for the boat, and that worked out well. And here's the difference between just being on raw cherry and with a finish on top of it. It's hard to see on the camera, but on this side I've got Helmsman's bar varnish, and on this side I've got Sicken's Sea-Tall Marine, both of which are waterproof and really designed for outdoor use. It's probably higher in VOCs, but that'll go away with time. Got them marked on the back. I like the look of the Sea-Tall better. It's got kind of a tannish hue already built into it. These two here are the Sea-Tall by itself and the Helmsman's bar varnish by itself. So you can see that this kind of takes some of the reddishness out of the color. And I've compared it to photos on my phone, which I think are fairly representative of what we've got on the boat. It's always hard to do it without seeing it, with the eye. But I don't have that option right now. Well, a table saw is one of the most dangerous tools out there. And so we have to be very, very careful. For this, I'm going to use a digital caliper, a digital micrometer. And I've got to say, Wendy's heard me bitch about this sort of thing constantly since we've been married. And it's one of my pet peeves is that engineers are paid to improve products and make changes to products. And oftentimes they reach the apogee of functionality, and then they keep on tweaking it and end up making it worse in the process. And one of the things they've done with this micrometer is they've made it so that if you turn it off and you move it at all, it comes back on. So it's automatic on when you move it, which is freaking stupid because it gets bounced around inside the case, and just getting it hit turns it on. And that means you pull it out, the battery's dead because it's been on for 4 months. And I'm just really, really frustrated by that. There is an on-off button. You didn't have to do this. This was a solution in search of a problem. Okay, I'm done with my rant. This is where it really gets dangerous. It's when you're dealing with little strips of wood like this, because the blade can catch it and throw it back at you if you're not careful. You have to be very, very careful with these things. It's just so scary. I just almost don't like doing it. It is important not to put any rags in trash bags inside the house or anything like that. These are high VOC coatings, and a VOC is a volatile organic compound, and they have the ability to spontaneously combust if they're put in an enclosed space. So on the boat, we take rags and things like this, and then we dip them in water. That takes the VOCs out pretty well. And then try not to put them on the boat if we can avoid it. We normally put them in a trash bag wet and in the cockpit and try to dispose of them as soon as possible. But I found that once they're wet, or I've read that once they're wet, that they won't combust easily. And I'm just sealing the back sides of these at the moment. You really have to seal them on all 6 sides. Well, I'll just apply the second coat of Sea-Tall. I think it's probably going to take about 3 to 5 coats for it to really come up, which is kind of the way it goes. In between each coat, we're using a tack rag to take all the dust off of it. And this is not the most dust-free environment here, but what we're looking at here is 5 layers, 5 coats of the Sikkens Sea Marine finish, and then in this case 3 very, very thin coats of Helmsman spar varnish. Mostly the 3 coats were about trying to get any type of drips or any type of sagging taken care of. It's one of the problems that you have with hand painting. That and dust. Between each coat, light sand of 600 grit, and hitting it with a tack rag is super important to get all the dust off of it. The spar varnish seemed to come up smoother, dry smoother, and I think that's because there's particulates that are built into the Sikkens product that make it the coloration. I can see it in there when I'm stirring it. So it's also several years old. It may not be in the best condition, but the spar varnish is doing well. And so hopefully by later today or tomorrow morning, this job will be completed.